What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel for another reaction. Ghost is back at it again with another newly released track, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm not gonna lie, I like them. Not as much as you think I would. I mean, they're good, don't get me wrong, but I like them in a more nostalgic way. I like them that they have that, like I said before, that 80s nostalgic, heavy metal sound that they probably grew up listening to themselves with and kind of molded their sound around them. So I don't know too much about their, their forming and stuff like that, but it's very nostalgic in that because it gives me like a little bit of insight of what made me come to grow up as listening to metal as a kid. I grew up with all like the 80s nostalgic bands, like Boston, Aerosmith, all those bands, all those famous, 80s iconic metals bands, so it's made me grow up into listening to that kind of music, and then it kind of went to more of the modern stuff, which is what I like listening to today. But don't get me wrong, they're good in their own way. They have that image to them, they have that unique style, that unique, stuff that makes them stand out amongst all the other metal bands. But from the last one we reacted to, Call Me Little Sunshine, a bit kind of threw me off a little bit with the title there, but after listening to it, I understood what the meaning was and what they were singing about, and I liked it though. I like the twist they did on like the, the classic sound. It kind of reminded me of like a little bit of Midwestern type tone with the guitars and with the rhythm and stuff like that. So I liked it. A little bit of historic element to that track in a way. So I like to see that they add their own unique styles, their own unique, elements in the track. So I like that. I like that. I like when bands add like a little bit of like a twist, a little bit of, spice to their songs, if you know what I'm saying. Just those little elements, elevate the track a little bit for me. But they're back at it again with another newly released track, ladies and gentlemen. I know they're coming out with a new album fairly soon, rather, so I don't know if it's a continuation off the Satanized track that we listened to previously, which was my first one from these guys, or because at the end of that one they kind of make it introduction to a new song. So this one might be that one. I don't know. We're just gonna have to wait and see, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, my eyes are open, my ears are listening, and we're just gonna have to wait and see what this new track has to bring, ladies and gentlemen. Before we get started, I appreciate it, and just really help me out. If you like Ghost as well, be sure to leave a like on this video as well. If you're new here, thank you for stopping by and checking out some awesome music, because we are just getting started on these heavy bangers. Ladies and gentlemen, no time wasted, let's get right into it. This is Ghost, newest release track titled Lachryma. Like I said, my English is not the best, so I don't know how to pronounce the title of this one. I'm sorry, but
Lachryma.
Starting with those 80s synths. Very classic 80s. Ooh. Classic heavy metal riff. Ooh. Got a bass line. Ooh. Got a little bit of groove element. That'll be like a little Aussie vibe to it. Love me some classic Aussie as well. There's that poppy 80s kind of chorus that they always do. Look at that groovy riff, though. It has a very classic 80s horror element, too. Feels like they're playing in a Spirit Halloween. falsetto bits. Oh, let's go, boys. Where are we going? Going for a solo action? Woo! There it is! Harmonizing! Woo! Oh yeah! Solo 2.0! Ooh. Look at that little dark twist action. Everybody knows. Everywhere I go. Woo! Get high on those strings, baby. Y'all boys, keep it going. Let those leads ring out. Woo! Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's get it. Let's get it, Ghost, with the newly released track. Kind of wish they kind of played it out a little bit longer there. They kind of would have felt like it would have been better if it was like faded out on the song there with the leads and the chorus playing there and stuff like that. But not gonna lie, not a bad track. Not a bad track at all, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, classic element is there. 80s metal, 80s nostalgic. Always a full frontal with this band and like that, but it had some modern elements to it. Like I said at the beginning there, with like the groovy lead, kind of reminded me of like a little bit of Ozzy influence in there with the way he does his singings, with the overlaying the groovy bits in there. Kind of reminded me a little bit of a Crazy Train kind of vibe. You know what I'm saying? Probably one of the best tracks ever created, in fact. But either way, then we kind of got into like, you know, the chorus. The chorus kind of sings the clean singing he always does. Not typically, you know, the strongest suit, I would argue, with this band. You know, like I said, he does do his normal stuff. He does know what he does know how to sing, don't get me wrong, but you know, I kind of feel like it's not the best when it comes to their songwriting stuff like that. Rather, I feel like the guitar is more their best. But either way, we got into the solo bits action yet again with the harmonizing. These guys love doing those leads. Like I said, kind of reminds me a little bit like a Avenged Sevenfold type action when they harmonize the leads, kind of like when they let the solo play out. They get high on those strings, boy. Let me just say, but it kind of reminded me a little bit of that on the little modern twist element in there. But then, like I said, back into the chorus again. You know, visuals. These guys definitely know how to play their part, like I said, with their costumes, with their masks. Kind of felt like they rented out a Spirit Halloween for this kind of video, let me just say. But like I said, it's cool, though. It's cool. I like when bands get into it. They get into their persona, their image, and I like when they put on a performance, especially with, you know, when they do it on their live shows. Rather, they just get into the part, they play the part. It's more of like a theatrical, you know, show at that point, which I like and I do appreciate of that. So I do like it with that. But I'm sorry, I'm kind of going to a little bit too fast here. My camera's about to die. But either way, like I said, you know, full frontal. I like this one though. I like this one with the groovy bits, with the elements, with the, you know, like I said, the newer age stuff, with the solos, the harmonies, the way he did it, the chorus this time around. It's very catchy, very clean, very chanty inspired, very crowd worthy of singing along with him on the stage when that happens. But the synths as well. I never really noticed the synth or the keyboard rather in the other videos. You know, maybe do they have like a full-time pianist or a keyboardist in the band? I don't know. I'd have to see about that one. But a lot more piano, a lot more synths on this one this time around, so which adds the element in there as well. But I kind of wish that the ending though played a little bit out a little bit more. They kind of wish they did they played it with the solos again. They played it out and kind of faded out towards the end. So I felt like the ending was kind of a little bit abrupt for me. But you know, it is what it is. So far, I feel like this one's my favorite one. So far, I feel like this one's my favorite one. Like I said, with the classics, with the Aussie influence, with the heavy metal, with the Avenged Sevenfold vibe. And I love it, man. I love it, man. So we're just gonna have to wait and see what that new album has to bring, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys for watching all these Ghost videos and all my reactions. It do means a lot to me to see all your thoughts and opinions on your comments and stuff like that. So keep them coming. I want to see more what you guys are thinking. Let me know what you guys think of this this new one here, and what do you think of the new album that's coming out. So yeah, so keep those coming, and be sure to hit the subscribe button, especially new here, because we're going to be big on the channel. You don't want to miss out on a single one. Guarantee that. And I'll see you guys the next one.